Hi, mayad nga timprano kanindong tanan. It is a Cuyunon words which means good morning to everyone. So before I am going to present my research paper to all of you, I am going to introduce myself first for you to get more familiar about me. So I am Irex Rodriguez Dalisam. I am 19 years old and I was happily born on January 1, 2001 at Sitio Danat, Barangay Manlag, El Nido, Palawan. So currently, I am taking up Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, major in English at Western Philippines University. So I guess at this moment, you're all ready to listen in the presentation of my research paper. My research paper is entitled Pronunciation of Cuyunon Native Speaker, Its Difference in Uttering Tagalog Words. So, let us all proceed now to the first part of this research paper, the introduction. Background of the study. Language, the very essence of our humanity, is an important and effective tool for socialization. So due to the significance of language in the lives of people, Palawan, the largest province in the Philippines, like other provinces, is home to various languages of the several indigenous ethno-linguistic groups, and one of them is Cuyunon. Cuyunon, according to the 2000 census, the Cuyunon language, a member of the Philippine branch of Malayo-Polynesian languages, is spoken mainly in the Cuyo Islands, between northern Palawan and Panay Island in the Philippines, by between 93,000 and 120,000 people. In regards with the pronunciation, according to my languages organization, alphabet is very important because its structure is used in everyday conversation. Without it, you will not be able to see the words properly even if you know how to write those words. The better you pronounce a letter in a word, the more you understand the language. Thus, this research paper is geared towards answering the question inscribed below. So that is the introduction of the study. So now, let us proceed to the second part of this paper, which is the methodology. So methodology contains the area where the study is conducted, and of course the participant of the study and data collection process. So the area is conducted at Sitio Langlayban, Barangay Aberawan, El Nido, Palawan. So the said place is where the researcher exactly resides. So the researcher estimated that 97% of the people living there can understand and speak the Cuyunon language fluently. So, due to the composure and presence of the Cuyunon language in the said place, the researcher choose or select one of its constituents as respondent in the study. So, the respondent that the researcher selected is a 23 years old and a graduate of technical, vocational, and livelihood courses at TESDA, or Technical Education and Skills Development Authority at Puerto Princesa, Palawan. So the researcher decided and agreed to choose the 23 years old respondent. It is because the researcher observed and noticed that the 23 years old respondent has the capability of speaking the Cuyunon language fluently. In other words, the specified respondent by the researcher considered the Cuyunon language as her mother tongue, so wielding and utilizing the said language in everyday conversation or dialogue. So, let us now proceed to the last part of methodology, which is the data collection. So, to satisfy the underlying need of the researcher in gathering and analyzing the information to propose solution in the research study, the researcher used a primary data collection process in which it gathers non-quantifiable elements such as raw and original data. So through the use of unstructured interviews, the researcher gather or collect a sufficient range of information needed to satisfy the respondent's profile in data collection. So, striding ahead to the main focus of this research study, which is to determine the differences in pronunciation of Cuyunon native speaker in uttering Tagalog words, the researcher decided to use video camera in which it provides the combination of audio recorder and video to easily determine the sounds of the respondent, at the same time the movement of the lips of the respondent once the given fable is read loudly and audibly. So, that is the methodology of this research paper. Now, let us proceed to the third part of this research paper, which is the findings and discussion. So, this part of the paper, it exemplifies the analysis of the researcher based on the speech sample obtained from the respondent of the study. Let's start it with the vowels. The analysis and the difference of pronunciation of a Cuyunon native speaker in uttering Tagalog words in terms of a segmental feature concentrating on vowels. First, the close rounded vowel or the high rounded vowel U is present in the word conejo and pabirong. However, the selected Cuyunon native speaker in the study did not pronounce ko as ko, rather uttering it as ku, wherein the U sound is pronounced with glottal stop and not rounded. The same case with the word pabirong, wherein the respondent pronounced ru and not ru. This finding is supported by the research conducted by Erlinda Dangan about the contrastive analysis of true and false cognates in Filipino and Cuyunon, in which in her example is the word kuko, or fingernail in English. It is read in Tagalog as kuko. However, in Cuyunon, it is pronounced as kuko. Another thing, the open, mid, front, and rounded vowel e was pronounced by the Cuyunon native speaker as e, near, close, near, front, and rounded vowel. So ne in the Tagalog word conejo is uttered by the respondent as ni. According to the Omniglot, the online encyclopedia of writing systems and languages, does exist in Tagalog pronunciation, but in Cuyunon articulation, it didn't. In Cuyunon is pronounced as a rotated lowercase letter e known as schwa sound, a mid-central vowel. So to further understand, one of the given example is the Cuyunon word butken, which means shoulder in English. It shouldn't be pronounced as betken, rather articulated as butken. So, those are some of the findings of the researcher in terms of vowel sound. So now, let us proceed to the difference in pronunciation of a Cuyunon native speaker in uttering Tagalog words concentrating on consonant. The consonants. One significant finding discerned from the study is the use of the voiceless alveolar fricative s, in which one of the example is the word siya. So, it must be pronounced as siya. However, the Cuyunon native speaker pronounced it as sha, where the s sound is substituted or changed into sh sound. So that is the difference in pronunciation of a Cuyunon native speaker in uttering Tagalog words concentrating on consonant. So now let us proceed to supplementary concerns and point of interest that brings about the pronunciation of Cuyunon native speaker varies and fluctuates in uttering Tagalog words. So one of the supplementary concern and point of interest is the presence of word stress. So let us talk about the word stress. All of us know word stress is very important in pronunciation because it gives emphasis on a specific syllable of a word when we pronounce it. However, from the speech sample obtained from the respondent, the researcher observed and noticed that inappropriate or improper use of word stress could make the pronunciation of Cuyunon vary or became oppositely different in uttering Tagalog words. Like for example, in the word siya, it is expected that we will see that the word stress is placed between the syllable si and ya. So it must be pronounced as siya. However, the researcher observed and noticed that the respondent pronounced it as siya. So there we can see that the word stress is placed before the word siya, be resulted as siya. So from that, we can infer that the improper or inappropriate use of word stress could make the pronunciation change. So, since there is no such thing as definitive or explicit list of phonemes because of accents, dialects, and evolution of language itself, so it is still possible to find out or discover sounds that is less or more than the approximately 44 sounds of the 26 English alphabet. So, accordingly, from the research study that I conducted, I found out that there are no existing phonological features that makes the pronunciation of the Cuyunon different from English and Tagalog languages. So, except from the one phoneme that the researcher had discovered, that is the U sounds with the voiceless glottal plosive. The U with glottal stop or U, a closed back rounded vowel with voiceless glottal plosive. And the word conejo is pronounced in the sound of cunijo. The presence of voiceless glottal plosive and the U makes the pronunciation of the word change. Thus, this accentuates that a new sound that isn't included in the International Phonetic Alphabet or IPA had been discovered by the researcher. So let us now proceed to the conclusion. So findings and analysis in the study aided to unravel and solve the researchers' topic questions. Since this study attempts and strives to characterize or describe the segmental features of vowel and consonant sounds of a Cuyunon native speaker in uterine Tagalog words, the researchers found out the differences in pronunciation concentrating on vowel and consonant sounds. In addition, inappropriate or improper use of word stress and glottal stop added effect to make the pronunciation of a Cuyunon native speaker in uterine Tagalog words vary or change. So, although compared to other researchers that have a numerous or multiple respondent in their study, here in this study, the researcher only manages one respondent. However, the researcher believes that the presence of one participant or respondent in this study will somehow intensify or amplify the existing body of knowledge by confirming or fulfilling the previous standings about the different in pronunciation of different people towards different languages. So that is the end of my discussion, and I hope you all learn a lot in this video presentation. So thank you very much for watching. Once again, mayad nga timprano kanindong tanan, kaluyan kamo ang Ginoo.